You may begin to wonder, now or later, or perhaps you've already started, noticing something subtle shifting. Because something happens when you forget what you once thought you knew. And in forgetting, you remember something even deeper, not in the mind, but beneath the thoughts, in the spaces between the stories, where beliefs become breath, and breath becomes change, and change becomes you. Have you ever noticed how some people, they seem to bounce back from anything, how challenges almost fuel them, as if resistance itself is the reason for their strength? What if that was never luck but structure? What if you already have that structure, waiting to be remembered? Because somewhere inside, there's a you who's always known. The mistakes are signals. Feedback is fortune, and every setback a setup for evolution. As you hear this now, your unconscious can begin installing the idea that negativity is just an echo, a leftover signal from an outdated map, and you are the cartographer now. You don't need to try, just pretend. Pretend you already are a mind sculptor, a belief architect, one who reshapes the contours of consciousness by simply noticing the shape of meaning. Let me tell you a story. There was once a person, maybe it was you, who saw problems everywhere, and then one day they learned to ask a new question. What else could this mean? And just like that, the world changed. Where there was chaos, new patterns. Where there was pain, now feedback. Where there was fear, now fascination. Have you felt it yet? That quiet yes inside, saying, I'm not broken, I'm building. And perhaps this is exactly how strength is created. Because reframing, it isn't just something you do, it's something you become. You see, glass half full isn't just optimism. It's a lens of strategic advantage. And when you install that lens, you don't see the world differently. You create a different world. The brain begins to expect good things, and what you expect, you seek, and what you seek, you shape, and what you shape becomes reality. It becomes easier each time, until the default is joy, the reflex is growth, the baseline is brilliance. And there are those who call this compulsive positivity, but really, it's emotional engineering. The blueprint for building unshakable inner architecture. And maybe you can feel a part of you remembering how to rehearse success, how to smile at what used to scare you, how to find the lesson before the loss. Because it was never really loss, only leverage. You might already be wondering how quickly your future self will thank you, because that self has already walked the timeline of possibility and is waving back at you with a grin. They're the one who took every difficult past and reframed it into the origin story of a hero that you are now. They're the one who looked at the mirror and finally realized, I'm not at the mercy of my mind. I am the mind that shapes the mercy. So imagine now what happens when abundance becomes automatic, when gratitude becomes gravity, and everything begins to flow towards you, because you've become magnetic. As you sit with that, can you begin to feel how your internal dialogue starts speaking in the voice of someone who knows what they're capable of? Listen closely now. There's a whisper inside saying, I'm the creator of my reality. I'm resilient and resourceful. Every signal guides my growth. And the unconscious doesn't argue, it listens and it installs. Isn't it fascinating how change can happen even before you notice it? Like planting seeds in the dark. And one day stepping outside to find a garden of belief systems blooming in sunlight. And it all started with that moment. That moment when you realized everything I experienced is feedback. And from that feedback, you built fortune. Now ask yourself this, not with your mind, but with your muscles, your nervous system, your subconscious pattern recognizer. What is changing already? Because you know some part of you knows. And every example, every loop, every rhythm here, it's installed more than just words. It's embedded strategies. reflexive positivity, unconscious optimism, strategic certainty, and emotional fluency. You no longer fear emotion, you ride it. You surf the wave of uncertainty, like it was designed to lift you higher. There's no going back, because even if you tried, you'd still be seeing the lesson, still anchoring the learning, still affirming the next evolution. Now, I'm not saying this belief system is yours yet, but if it were, what would you notice first? Would it be the way you reframe a challenge before reacting? Would it be the calm certainty during what used to be chaos? Would it be the smile that comes unbidden? Because optimism is your new operating system now. Maybe it's all that, or maybe it's something more. You're becoming the kind of person whose very presence is an affirmation, whose gaze reframes, whose voice redirects, whose energy rewires reality. Because when you've installed the belief that reality is malleable, it bends. And as it bends, you rise. So go ahead. Try to resist this transformation. Notice how even that resistance becomes a lesson. And lessons become leverage. And leverage becomes leadership. And you become legendary.